We are officially entering the holiday season, and with all of the joy and amazingness that comes with that, comes all of the stress. But not to worry, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to make the most of the holiday season, find your joy, kill the chaos, and really just enjoy the season for what it is. Stay tuned. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Redefining Balance by Your Life Rocks. I'm your host, Jenny Stemmerman, and I am so excited for this episode. Did you know that we have been doing Holiday Sanity now for 6 years? 6 years at Your Life Rocks. We have done an annual course. It's called Holiday Sanity, and it's really all about helping you plan out a simple holiday, taking away all of the stress. And you can get it completely for free by going to holidaysanity.com. Again, it's completely for free. It has all of the worksheets in there and so much more. Now, we are here in the United States entering into Thanksgiving, and that is like the kickoff to all of the craziness over the next 6 weeks that come with the holidays. We all know that the reason for this season is to celebrate Jesus and Him coming to save us. But with that, we also have all of the work parties. We have Christmas gifts to buy for. We have food and stress and expectations galore in the holiday season. And it's all of this extra that can create so much stress. And I think every single year I tell myself, we're going to do it simple this year. We're going to do it easier this year. And then it's hard to stick to that because it is a season that comes just once. So I would invite you to grab that free course, Holiday Sanity, go through the planning process because it definitely helps control all of the chaos. But today we're going to do something a little bit differently. Normally when we're kicking off the holiday season, I take you in depth through the Holiday Sanity course. You can find past episodes about that. You can go over to YouTube and check that out. They are all right there. But today I want to do something a little bit different. Today I want to just help us find our breath and to really enjoy the season in a different capacity. So get your notebooks out. I'm going to be asking you some questions. I want you to journal them and kind of just bring them before the Lord and pray about it to see what God would have for you in this holiday season. I've been kind of going through this process myself in the last couple weeks. And at the end of the episode, I'm going to share with you some of the things that have come up for me while I went through this process with the Lord. Now, number one, I do want to say that we need to be really careful as we go through this season or entering into this season because we traditionally think about all of the stresses that come with the holidays that are like pre-COVID, right? Like pre-COVID holiday season had enough stress. Post-COVID holiday has a little bit different stress, has a lot more social anxiety, has a lot more just entanglement of different emotions and thoughts and preconceived ideas. And so I just want to say that up front because I think sometimes when we do something that we don't do very often, like the holidays, we can kind of kick into our let's do it as we always do it kind of a thing, right? Like we have our traditions, especially around the holidays, and some of those traditions might have to flex. They've probably flexed last year. But the thing is it's like we still go into autopilot mode. And we have to be really careful and cognizant of the fact that that is what is happening, because then when things don't go as they normally do, when we're doing the things that we normally do, that can cause stress. That can cause a lot of emotions around it. So it's important that we call that out up front because when we can shine, and I say this all the time, when we shine light on things, when we can actually deal with it, when we can see it, we understand what's happening, we know what's going on, we can deal with it a lot better than if we feel sideswiped by something. And I definitely don't want you to feel that way. So I know for me, we're doing our holidays early this year. In fact, as I'm recording this, which is a couple weeks before it goes live, I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving early. Like we're doing it 2 weeks early. I have in-laws coming over. As soon as I'm done recording this, I'm making pie crust. Like we're doing it early because just our schedules and work and everything else makes it difficult for us to celebrate the day of. So we're making it our own. And going through the process of disruption of a tradition already has caused me to be like, oh, wait, what's going on? What's happening? And really kind of scrambling a little bit and feeling some emotions that are just kind of odd. But again, we want to make sure we're feeling those emotions, we're walking through those emotions, and we're doing the best that we can. So I say that because I'm already feeling it and you might be feeling it as well. Now, as we're going into the holiday season and really looking at all of the things, doing the planning that's in the Holiday Sanity free course, I think the most important question for us to ask ourselves at the very beginning is what are our favorite things about the season? Because here's the thing, we can talk about how to simplify, but when we simplify, we might be cutting out some things that we really love. Like they might be really complex and really stressful, but at the end of the day, we love them. So don't cut those things out. So really think about the things that you love about the season. And then once you have a good list, ask yourself, how can I get more of this? How can I get more of it in a healthy way without causing overwhelm, without causing, just more craziness or more things on your to-do list? How can I do it in a simpler way, but still get the same feeling, that same whatever it is that you love? Like, how can I get more of that? It could be something as simple as, I know for me, I love peppermint. I like peppermint flavored things. And usually I try to limit it because there's a lot of sugar. But then I started asking myself, like, how can I get more of the flavors of this season that I want in a healthier way? And a couple Google searches later, I've got a whole list of things that I can be doing, products I could be buying, and ways of incorporating what I love about the season, the things that trigger joy and happiness in my brain. I can do that in a healthier way, in a simpler way, and do more of it so I get more of what the season feels like, means like for me in that way. Now, that's a really simple way of just a flavor, right? Peppermint flavor. But it can be things like the Christmas lights. I love Christmas lights. So what can I do to get more Christmas light experience in my life this holiday season? For you, it might be friends and family. How can you get more of that this holiday season? It might be Christmas movies. One year for me, it was Christmas movies. I wanted more Christmas movies. So I set a goal for myself to watch a Christmas movie every single day. The next year after that, I watched a couple Christmas movies, but it was a totally different experience. I didn't need it as much. Not saying, do it to the point that you don't want to do it anymore. But I'm just saying, like, there are things that you can do to bring more of the things that you love in. And I think it's really important that we do that because a lot of us have really been restricted in the things that we love in the last year and a half, 2 years. There's been a lot of changes in access and being able to be with people and have that kind of joy. And so why not use the season of joy to create more of those things that bring you joy, right? And just get the most in that you absolutely can. Now, on the other side of that is to ask yourself what your least favorite things of the holiday is. Now, I know you probably are going to think the next thing I'm going to say is, how can you avoid those things? No, no, I don't think it's healthy to avoid pain. I don't think it's healthy to avoid the things that make us uncomfortable. And I'm an Enneagram 9. I don't like conflict. I don't like leaning into those feelings that don't feel good. But here's what I want you to do once you have that good list of the things that are not your favorite things about the holiday season. Ask yourself how you can get a different perspective about those. Sometimes we get so fixed into our thinking, or we just have always seen things in the way that they've always been. And I think that right now we can really embrace what's going on in the world, to challenge ourselves to see things a little bit differently, to get a different perspective than maybe we have in the past, to see something from someone else's point of view. I think it's really healthy. I think it's really biblical for us to be able to do that, to try to understand things and see things from a different perspective. It might not be that, you want to avoid it. Maybe you can't avoid it, but maybe you can get a different perspective that changes how you feel about it. It changes your reaction that you have about it. The other thing I would ask you is to look at it and say, what can I learn from this? Again, I think sometimes when we go for comfort, when we go for things that are joy, when we go for things that are simple because we don't have the time or energy, we forget that there are learning experiences all around us. And those learning experiences make us better moms. They make us better wives. They bring us closer to the Lord. I mean, so many things of us thinking like, what can I learn from this? If I look at it from a biblical point of view, or what would God want me to be learning from this? It builds character. It builds depth. And that depth is what we can use to then bless people with our talents, our skills. And you never know when in the future, someone, you're going to cross their path. They're going to be in a situation, and the lesson that they need to learn is the lesson that you learned from whatever it is that is on that list. And you can then pass that lesson on and be a blessing to someone else. Now, once you've asked yourself those other two questions, then I think it's a good thing to just say, can I minimize this? Should I minimize this? Because some things you can't minimize. Like, you can't avoid whatever conflict it is or the thing that you just really, really dread. But maybe you can. I know for me, one of the things I always hated was sending Christmas cards. It was like so tedious. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm doing it, and trying to find people's address. Like, it was just so much time. And I was like, do I really need to do this? Probably not. Now this year, I'm kind of wanting to get back into doing it. But, in the year that I decided not to do that was probably like 10 years ago. I didn't do it up until now. So it's okay to make those changes for yourself. It's okay to say, this isn't working for me anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it anymore. It's not working. Now, obviously, some things you can't do that, but you can minimize it. You can try to avoid it as much as you can or minimize your exposure. And lastly, I think it's important that we don't forget the reason for the season. I know people say that all the time. It becomes so cliche and it's just something that we like, yeah, I know, reason for the season. But then we get caught up in shopping on Amazon and Black Friday deals and what do people want for Christmas and the food and like all of the stuff, right? But here's the thing. Christmas aside, in everyday life, we can get so caught up in the things of this world that we miss the things that are eternal, the things that are forever, the things that is all about God, the things that He has for us. Now, this is even more evident when it comes to the holiday season, because we know what the reason for the season is, yet we can get so focused on things like making fun things for the kids to do, creating memories, making everything perfect. And it feels like every single year, there's like new stuff, like matching family pajamas. That was not a thing 5 years ago. Like some of the stuff that I see sometimes on Instagram, that was not a thing 5 years ago, 2 years ago, even a year ago. People weren't doing it, and it's all added stuff. It's added expenses. It's added time to do things and make things just a certain way. We can get so focused on what to buy people for gifts and making sure it's enough gifts and the gifts are even for the kids and we're within our budget and what to cook for family gatherings and should we even attend parties or gather and invite people over and what that even looks like. Because the state of our world today, if there is a whole new set of issues with gathering in general and people's comfort level with being with other people and having parties and, you know, a whole thing. Like I saw something on a social media platform not that long ago and someone was, I think my husband was actually talking about this. Someone asking, it was a Dear Amy column. That's what it was. He was telling me about this Dear Amy column that he had read where someone was asking if it's okay not to invite certain family members that aren't vaccinated. And it just creates a whole issue of like, emotional stuff behind all of these things that we're facing now in the world. But this is the thing, guys. It is things that are of this world. It's the state of the world that we live in, but it is not the world that we belong to. This is not us. This is a temporary spot. And sometimes we can get so focused on our temporary spot and not on our destination of where we're going. Now, think about the eternal. Think about where we're going, keeping your focus there. Love and Jesus must be above all of the things, all of the stress, because He is. Like, that's the reality of it. That's the fact of it. That's the truth of it. And if we need to be focused on the truth and not the false narrative that everything that we see around us is all there is, because it's just a false perception that the things of this world really matter because they don't. We just think that they do. So focus this season on why Jesus came. He came so we wouldn't be separated from God, that He came to forgive us for our sins so He could be with us forever and we could be with Him forever. He loves you that much that He wants to be with you forever. He came to save the broken and to give hope. And in that, we can rejoice because He said He was going to come and He did. He fulfilled that prophecy. And then He said He was going to come again and we can rely and hope and wait on that. And that is where we should have our focus, is on Him and His promises. So what can you do to do that? Because it's easy to say it. It's another thing to do it, right? It's one thing to say, I'm going to focus more on God this season. I'm going to focus on why Jesus came. And you can say, I'm going to do an Advent Bible study. I'm going to do all these things. But the things of the world will creep in. The enemy will make sure of it. He will make sure you're too tired to get up early to study the Word. He will make sure that all of these other distractions get in the way of your relationship with Him. Question is, are you going to let it? Or are you not going to let it? But we are still going to be tired. We're going to do all of those things, right? Like that's just the life of a working mom. It happens. Distractions come in, world life happens. Now, one thing that I am doing this year, I've actually done it for the last couple of months, and it's been a night and day game changer. My friend Angie, who was on the episode just a couple episodes ago, she had recommended an app for me called Dwell. Maybe you have this app already. I went ahead and bought the annual subscription for it because it's so good. And it is an audio Bible app. And you can change the voices. You can do different reading plans. You can read along as they're reading. I have been falling asleep to it. When I wake up early in the morning, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, can't go back to sleep, I turn it on, has a sleep timer on it. I play it while I'm working, while I'm walking, while I'm driving, just to get more time in with the Word of God. And it changes your mind. It changes your mindset. It changes your focus. It does a lot to help you stay focused on God and what His intentions are for you, not the intentions of this world. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that is the recipe for holiday sanity. Now, I said that I would share with you kind of what has come from me in this last couple weeks, kind of thinking about these questions and really more broad question, not just holiday related, but, even beyond that. But for me, I really need to slow down this holiday season. I really need to enjoy my family. I need to enjoy where we are. There have been a lot of obstacles for us in the last couple of years, and I just feel like God is calling me into a season of rest and a season to be close to Him, to listen to Him. And so that's what I'm going to do. So between now and the end of Christmas, there will be no new episodes coming out for this podcast. There are a ton of great resources available for you on our website, yourliferocks.com, over on our YouTube channel, Your Life Rocks. Many of you know I haven't been on social media much, hardly at all in the last couple of years. It's just not my jam anymore. And so you won't find me much there, which you haven't anyway, between now and the new year. But I do encourage you to go and get the free course, do the planning, ask yourself these questions, and just spend some time and rest yourself. Maybe turn off some of the outside noises of this world. Maybe turning off social media, maybe turning down social media. Maybe stop putting so many inputs in other than the Word of God and just be with Him. Let your mind process through things without constantly listening to other people, constantly listening to other things, and just listen for God. Find that peace for yourself. I hope you find your holiday sanity, and I will see you the end of December. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. All of the holidays amazing. And until then, keep building a life that rocks. Bye. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. Just because the show is over doesn't mean we have to stop hanging out. Hit subscribe and dive into another episode. Or jump on over to my YouTube channel for more content to help you thrive as a working mom. Ready to get into action? You can find a number of resources at yourliferocks.com, including the free weekly success planning course. Sign up for free at yourliferocks.com. Talk to you soon.